What is up, everybody? I'm Joe, and I'm here with my co-host Tim.
How's it going, guys?
And this is the Final Serve. To start off today's episode, I just want to congratulate R.A. Dickey for winning his 20th game with the New York Mets.
First Met to do so in 22 years. To me, what's most impressive about this is that he won 20 games with a miserable team, a knuckleball pitcher who has had great control of the knuckleball, 222 strikeouts to 54 walks, with a 105 whip. Even for a regular pitcher, that's unheard of stats. In my mind, he's a Cy Young favorite, mainly because he's a knuckleballer with such great control, won this many games with a miserable team, pitching to a 2.69 ERA. If anyone else wins it, I think it's an injustice to R.A. Dickey.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think what's most impressive is that the Mets were just awful. And for him to do that, Cy Young all the way, if I was voting, he would have my vote. Moving on, I have a question for you. Do you think the New York Jets need to use Tim Tebow more?
This is an interesting question because Sanchez and him are pretty inaccurate passers at this point. I think it's bad for Sanchez if you throw Tebow out there more often because it shows that you've lost faith in him, and no other team in the league has a two-quarterback offense.
But don't you think if you're going to go and use a fourth-round pick for a guy, you need to use him?
Well, I have no problem with them using a wildcat every now and then and using him for that. What bothers me is when they line him up in the wide receiver position and expect him to catch the ball, and what does it do? It goes off his helmet. What were they thinking? In a big spot, you're gonna throw it to Tim Tebow, a guy who's never been a wide receiver.
I mean, to be perfectly fair, the three or four times they ran it before that play, Tebow was wide open, and Sanchez didn't even look at him, which I can't really blame him. I mean, Sanchez wants no part of Tim Tebow, but I don't know. I think if you're gonna go out and get this guy, you need to do something with him. Whether you line them up and you make your wildcat package, both quarterbacks back there, you don't know who you're going to snap it to, maybe something like that. Make it a little more interesting. I mean, yeah, they used him 14 plays last week, more than the first 2 weeks. I just feel like for all the hype that he's gotten, he hasn't done anything.
I think the bigger problem we have here is that we're just finding more reasons not to blame Sanchez. I think now the problem is Sanchez himself. I understand he doesn't have the best weapons around him, doesn't have the best offensive line protecting him, but there comes a point in time where he needs to turn around, step up, take control of the team, and just perform. And it's not even just about the weapons around him. He's out there, he looks lost. I mean, you have a Dolphins team that isn't exactly the best team out there that turned around and made him look terrible. He threw 2 picks, completed less than half of his passes, in a game the Jets should have lost twice. I think now the problem is starting to become Sanchez. Can he lead this team? I mean, the first 2 years that they made it, they got breaks going into them. They were able to run for a lot of yardage, so it wasn't really about Sanchez.
But listen, you know I'm a huge Mark Sanchez fan. I do think he needs to step up, but on the same note, what is he supposed to do when the receivers can't hold on to the football when he throws it to them? How can he do everything when his running back isn't? How can Sanchez make a difference when your running back isn't producing at all? I mean, they have a 0 running game. It is awful. Can't hold on to the football. Their protection has been better. Receivers are running wrong routes. I don't think it's all on him.
I'll agree with you in a way on that, because in the Dolphins game, for instance, the quarterback is obviously struggling. Why do you go 3 straight downs and throw the ball? At least attempt a run on the first down. Pick up something. Get something going. And I understand maybe it's not fair for me to compare him to another New York quarterback, but, he gets all the limelight, got all the credit in the world when he was going to the AFC championships. But Eli last year had no running game behind him. Eli throughout his career has dealt with a mix of receivers and yet has still produced. I understand within his first 4 years, he wasn't the best out there. He had some shaky numbers, but last year, how many fourth quarter comebacks did he
Yeah,
have?
but at this point in Eli's career, he's elite. I really don't want to use that word, but it's the truth. And Mark Sanchez, at this point, I don't think the Jets put him in a position to win. They put him in a position to fail. They gave him nobody. And you go out and you get a guy like Tim Tebow, which is only going to bring more attention to Mark Sanchez and his flaws. However, if you're going to go out and get Tim Tebow and you're going to waste the fourth round pick, which you could have used a lot offensive lineman, or you could have used it for another running back, or you could have used it for another receiver, you need to put Tebow in the game. Now, I'm not saying at quarterback. I don't think the man is the quarterback for the New York Jets. I think you put him in a wildcat, make him a running back, make him a fullback, something. Do something. But to me, to use a fourth round draft pick on this guy and only have him get 14 snaps in your third game, I think is wrong. I think he needs to see more playing time. I do.
I can agree with that, but when it comes to the Jets, it's all about selling the back page.
Oh yeah,
That's
of
all.
course.
That's the only reason they make moves.
Of course. And it makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever.
Speaking of the back page, a new headline that has developed is the NFL refs have now gotten their deal. The NFL refs will now be coming back, replacing the replacements. Yeah, I'm happy about this, but let's be honest, there's still going to be people complaining about them, complaining about missed calls. I understand the replacement refs were just god-awful, especially in that Monday night game where you have one calling a touchdown and one calling an incomplete pass.
That's the only reason why the deal got done.
But you know
NFL would have waited and waited and waited, but it is
what
what it
bothers me
is.
the most about it, at least that certain play, what bothers me, is more the review afterwards.
The instant replay tech, he's a full-time NFL employee.
How did he miss it? It's clear as day it was an awful call. And I understand that there's been awful calls all around, ones that just make no sense, like Thursday night, Giants against the Panthers. Prince was flagged for an unnecessary roughness against the receiver, where if you watch the play over again, the receiver obviously pushes him first, and Prince gives him a little nudge. He got flagged pretty much when the play was dead. I don't understand what the unnecessary roughness is. Even if Prince pushed first, it was such a light tap. This is football, people. I mean, if you can't touch the person that you're supposed to be defending, how are you supposed to play the game?
Well, I mean, the game's just changing. That's really all I can say about that. It's not what it was. And it might be a good thing, but...
Well, they need to protect the players, but to what extent?
Yeah.
Where there's no defense left in the
league? I think no matter what changes the NFL would go and make, there's always going to be some issue. I'm just happy that the refs are back. Yeah, then hopefully we won't be seeing as many bad calls. But to be perfectly fair and to be perfectly honest, last year, the refs did not do a very good job. So only time will tell how this season's going to turn out. So how about we make some picks?
Let's do it.
All right, so in our first game, we got the Patriots and the Bills. I'm going Patriots here. I can't see the Patriots going 1-3. Don't see it happening. And I'm going to go Patriots 24, Bills 20.
This one's a tough one for me. I want to say Patriots also, but the Bills have Fred Jackson coming back. Patriots have a very leaky defense. If somehow the Bills can get a pass rush against Brady, I think they can stop the flow of their offense. I agree with you. It's tough seeing the Patriots lose 3 in a row. The Bills are home. I think I'm going to take the Bills on this one, 24-21. The next game we're going to be talking about is the San Francisco 49ers playing New York Jets at home. This is a game where I see the 49ers coming out for blood after being upsetted by the Vikings. I see Sanchez feeling that pass rush early and often. Sanchez had a terrible game against the Dolphins the week before. I do not see how he does better against a more elite defense. The best defense in the league, in my mind. I like what they've done with Alex Smith. He has almost 70% completion, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. They're not doing anything crazy with him. They're just having him manage the game. The Jets defense can't stop the run. 49ers have Frank Gore. Don't see how the Jets stop that. The New York Jets, I don't see how they're going to be able to run the ball against the 49ers defense that has been elite against the run. All the pressure is going to be on Sanchez, and I don't think Sanchez has a chance of carrying this game on his back. I'm going 49ers with this one, 28-10.
I got to agree with you. I think the 49ers are going to win this game. I don't think the Jets have really any chance of winning. It's tough. I got to go San Francisco 31, the Jets 17. That may be even being generous, but I'm going to think that they'll get some garbage touchdowns at the end of the game. something like that.
That's what I believe too.
Maybe pad some of the Sanchez stats or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I think I don't give the Jets any chance in this one. Our next game, New York Giants at Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going New York Giants. I think they're going to destroy Michael Vick. That defensive line will eat him alive. I think the only way the Eagles win in this one is if they do not turn the ball over. But as the last couple games have shown, they have not been very good at holding on to the ball. I'm going Giants 21, Eagles 7.
In this game, I'm also picking the Giants. Looking at it from the Eagles' perspective, bothers me the most is the fact that they have 12 turnovers in 3 games, can't protect the quarterback. You're having a Giants team that hasn't really been able to get much from their pass rush in the last few games. But I think it's going to be a breakout party for the defensive line. I'm going to predict 8 sacks in this game. I think it's going to be a little closer because I like the Eagles' defense. I think it's a pretty good defense. The only problem is the offense turns over the ball way too much. Defense is always on the field. I like the emergence of Brown for the Giants. Manning, no matter who you put out there in the wide receiver position, it seems like he still can have a very productive day. Has a league-leading 1,011 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. Give me the Giants in this one, 24-14. And our final game is the Monday Night Showdown against Chicago and the Dallas Cowboys. In this one, you have 2 quarterbacks who are prone to having bad days. Cutler has really not played up to his potential to this point in the season. The Bears' defense has looked pretty good. The Dallas defense has looked pretty good. Romo's been shaky at times. To be fair, actually, the only good game he's had this season was against the Giants. In this game, I'm going to go Bears just because I believe that Cutler's been so inconsistent that he's going to finally turn it around. I'm going to predict a big night for him, at least a 2-touchdown night for him. I'm going to pick the Bears 24-21.
I'm going to go Dallas Cowboys in this one. I think Cutler throws 2 interceptions. I think Romo throws for 2 touchdowns, maybe 250 yards. Cowboys win 21-17. That's going to be all for us today. Follow us on Twitter @TheFinalServe. Thank you for listening.
You've just been served.